Imagine this: a quiet night, a historic city, and a mysterious symbol glowing on an old stone wall. It looks simple, but behind it lies a secret powerful enough to challenge everything we know about the human mind. And the man standing in front of that symbol is Harvard professor Robert Langdon. Today, we are diving into Dan Brown's latest thriller, The Secret of Secrets. Dan Brown is the master of puzzles, symbols, and fast-paced mysteries, the author who shook the world with the Vinci Code, Angels and Demons, Inferno, and more. Millions of readers follow him because he blends history, religion, science, and suspense like no one else. But this new book is more than another chase through ancient cities. Its core idea is bold. What if the real mysteries aren't hidden in temples or manuscripts, but inside the human mind itself? The story explores ancient knowledge, modern neuroscience, and the timeless question of what consciousness truly is. Why should you read this book? Because it doesn't just entertain, it makes you think. It challenges your assumptions, connects history with cutting-edge science, and keeps you turning pages with high-tension and powerful revelations. If you love symbols, ancient codes, hidden societies, and thrilling discoveries, you're in the right place. Let us step together into the world of The Secret of Secrets and uncover what lies behind its most dangerous mysteries. Let's step deeper into the world of The Secret of Secrets. At the center of the story is the man we all know, Professor Robert Langdon. A symbologist with a sharp eye, a calm mind, and an unusual talent for seeing meaning where others see only chaos. Once again, Langdon is pulled into a mystery that blends ancient history with modern danger. The story begins in Prague, a city filled with Gothic towers, hidden passageways, and centuries-old legends. Dan Brown uses this setting brilliantly. Narrow streets echo with old secrets, libraries hide forbidden manuscripts, and every monument feels like part of a puzzle waiting to be solved. The plot kicks off when Langdon arrives for what should have been a simple academic event. But everything changes when a shocking incident exposes a strange ancient symbol, one that appears in a place it should never exist. This moment triggers the entire chain of events. Suddenly, Langdon finds himself at the center of a mystery tied to the origins of human consciousness. His main challenge? A cryptic message left behind by a brilliant but controversial scientist. The message hints at a discovery powerful enough to rewrite what we believe about the human mind. But the clues are hidden behind esoteric symbols, forgotten codes, and historical references stretching across centuries. As Langdon digs deeper, he encounters a secret organization operating in the shadows. This group guards knowledge they believe humanity is not ready for, knowledge that connects ancient mystical teachings with cutting-edge neuroscience. Their motives remain unclear. Are they protecting humanity or controlling it? Throughout the book, Dan Brown weaves in historical and religious elements. The narrative explores medieval scholars, early mystics, and thinkers who question the nature of the soul and consciousness. These ideas are blended with modern scientific theories, creating a bridge between the past and the present. You'll find references to Renaissance-era manuscripts, early philosophical debates about the mind, and spiritual traditions that believed consciousness itself was a divine force. This duality, science and spirituality, becomes one of the driving themes of the story. As expected from Dan Brown, the research is rich. He mixes real facts with speculative ideas in a way that feels both educational and thrilling. Every clue comes from some historical artifact, architectural detail, or religious symbol. And of course, the twists. The book is packed with unexpected turns, each chapter ending with a hook that pushes you forward. Just when you think you've understood the mystery, a new revelation changes the entire direction. Langdon discovers allies he cannot fully trust, enemies he cannot see, and secrets that seem to shift every time he gets closer to the truth. Time pressure is constant. There is always a countdown, always a threat closing in, always a discovery that must be made before someone else makes it first. This tension, the feeling that every second matters, is what gives the book its signature Dan Brown intensity. By the end of this section of the story, one thing becomes clear: the mystery Langdon is chasing is not just historical. It's personal, philosophical, and deeply connected to the question of what it means to be human. Now that we've explored the storyline, let's take a closer look at the people, ideas, and writing style that bring The Secret of Secrets to life. Because in every Dan Brown novel, the characters and themes are just as important as the mystery itself. At the center, as always, stands Robert Langdon. In this book, we see a deeper side of him. He's still the calm, analytical professor with a deep respect for history and symbols. But here, the mystery forces him to question not just the past, but his own understanding of the human mind. His character grows as he confronts ideas that challenge his logic-driven worldview. It's one of the rare Langdon stories where the professor isn't just decoding symbols. He is forced to confront what consciousness actually means. Next is the main companion, a female protagonist who serves as both a guide and a counterbalance to Langdon. She's a scientist with a strong, independent personality and a deep connection to the central mystery. Her knowledge of neuroscience and ancient teachings adds layers to the investigation. Her dynamic with Langdon is built on mutual respect. She challenges him intellectually, supports him in critical moments, and often provides the missing piece when historical clues merge with scientific theory. On the opposite side, we have the antagonist, or rather, the opposing force. Dan Brown rarely uses one-dimensional villains. Instead, the antagonist here is driven by a belief that certain knowledge must remain hidden. Their motives are ideological, not purely evil. This makes the conflict sharper. It's not just good versus bad, but two philosophies colliding. Supporting characters, librarians, historians, researchers, and even members of the secret organization, each play small but meaningful roles. They guide Langdon, mislead him, or push him closer to the truth. These secondary characters help shape the tension and keep the mystery unpredictable. Throughout the story, the relationships between characters feel dynamic. There's trust, but also uncertainty. Cooperation, but also doubt. This emotional tension adds depth behind the fast-paced action. Dan Brown never writes just a thriller. He always embeds larger ideas. Here, the biggest theme is the relationship between science and spirituality. The book explores whether these two worlds truly conflict, or if they're simply different paths to understanding the same truth. Another major theme is the contrast between ancient knowledge and the modern world. The story suggests that old manuscripts, mystical teachings, and forgotten symbols might contain insights modern science is only now beginning to uncover. Then there is the eternal quest for truth. The characters are constantly searching, not just for clues, but for meaning. The book raises important questions. What is real? Who decides what knowledge is allowed? And is humanity ready for certain truths? Power and control also stand at the center of the story. The secret organization believes knowledge can be dangerous. The opposing side believes hiding the truth is even more dangerous. This clash creates the moral tension that drives the narrative forward. And finally, the book touches on humanity's origins, not biologically, but consciously. Where does our awareness come from? Is it simply a brain function, or something deeper, older, and universal? These questions give the story philosophical weight beneath the action. Of course, all of this unfolds through Dan Brown's iconic storytelling style. First, the short, fast-paced chapters. Every scene moves quickly, switching between perspectives and building momentum. This keeps the reader in a constant state of anticipation. Then there's the famous cliffhanger technique. Almost every chapter ends with a shock, a revelation, or a new danger, making it impossible to stop reading. Brown blends historical facts with imaginative fiction, creating a world where real monuments, real manuscripts, and real symbols become part of an epic puzzle. This mix makes the story feel grounded, even when the ideas push into the realm of speculation. Symbols and codes, as expected, are everywhere. Old alchemical signs, mystical diagrams, and esoteric scripts all play a role. Langdon's ability to decode them drives much of the story forward. Dan Brown is also known for rich city descriptions. Prague's architecture, libraries, old bridges, and underground tunnels come alive. You can almost feel the atmosphere of each location. Alongside the action, Brown weaves in scientific and philosophical explanations. But he does it in a way that is simple, cinematic, and accessible to any reader. And finally, the classic Dan Brown ending. The last chapters contain a dramatic revelation, the kind that reframes everything you thought you understood. It's that final twist that makes the journey worth it. Now let's talk about the deeper ideas behind the secret of secrets, the lessons, the philosophy, and why this book matters beyond the thriller story. At its core, the book challenges us to rethink our understanding of consciousness. It suggests that the human mind may be far more powerful and far more mysterious than modern science currently accepts. One of the strongest messages is this: truth is often hidden not because it is dangerous, but because humanity may not be ready to face it. The story constantly raises questions about reality, belief, and perception. What do we accept as truth? Do we believe something because it's logical, or because it's familiar? And how much of our worldview is shaped by what others choose to reveal? This philosophical depth is what gives the book its lasting impact. Another major idea is the relationship between knowledge and control. The secret organization in the story believes certain discoveries must remain hidden to prevent chaos. Others believe suppressing knowledge is a form of tyranny. This tension reflects a real-world issue. Who controls information? And who decides what the public is ready to know? The book pushes us to question how institutions, scientific, political, or religious, shape the limits of our understanding. In today's world of rapid scientific breakthroughs, AI, neuroscience, and misinformation, this story feels incredibly timely. It mirrors our own struggle to balance innovation with responsibility, curiosity with caution. The book invites us to think about how much we truly understand about our own minds, how easily information can be controlled, and whether humanity is prepared for uncomfortable truths. The Secret of Secrets shares several elements with the Da Vinci Code: ancient symbols, religious and historical puzzles, high-stakes revelations. But while the Da Vinci Code focuses heavily on religious history, this book shifts toward human consciousness and science. Compared to angels and demons, it is less about global institutions and more about inner discovery. And unlike Inferno, which deals with biological threats, this story explores the psychological and philosophical aspects of human existence. Within the Langdon series, this book stands out as the most mind-centered, mixing thriller action with introspective themes. Strengths: rich symbolism and research, fast-paced, classic Dan Brown momentum, deep philosophical questions, a unique blend of science and spirituality, strong character dynamics. Weaknesses: some scientific ideas feel speculative. The pacing may feel intense for readers who prefer slower mysteries. The philosophical sections might challenge casual readers, but for most Dan Brown fans, these weaknesses are actually part of the charm. Who will enjoy this book? This book is perfect for readers who love fast-paced thrillers, historical and scientific puzzle stories that make you think, mysteries rooted in real places and real theories, philosophical questions about the nature of the mind. If you enjoy exploring hidden connections between the past and the future, this novel will keep you turning pages until the final revelation. As we wrap up our journey through The Secret of Secrets, let's highlight the 5 main takeaways this book leaves behind. 1. Consciousness is still one of humanity's greatest mysteries. The story pushes us to question what we truly know about the mind. 2. Knowledge can be both empowering and dangerous. The book reminds us that information shapes societies, and those who control it shape the future. 3. Ancient wisdom may hold clues to modern science. Old manuscripts, symbols, and teachings might reveal more than we assume. 4. Truth is rarely simple. The novel encourages skepticism and curiosity. Never accept a single version of reality. 5. Humanity's potential is far greater than we think. The story suggests that the boundaries of the human mind are still unexplored. Now, if you're new to the Robert Langdon series, here's the smartest reading order. Start with Angels and Demons, then the Da Vinci Code, followed by The Lost Symbol, Inferno, Origin, and finally this book. Each novel stands alone, but reading in order gives you a richer connection to Langdon's evolution. If you enjoyed this story, you'll also like Dan Brown's other works: Digital Fortress, Deception Point, Steve Berry's thrillers, especially the Cotton Malone series, Douglas Preston and Lincoln Child's books, known for scientific mysteries and fast-paced tension. As for where to find The Secret of Secrets, it's available on most major bookstores, online platforms, and audiobook services. Choose the format you enjoy most. This story is vivid and gripping in any medium. My personal impression? This book stands out for its bold ideas. It doesn't just entertain, it makes you think. It blends science, history, and philosophy into a thrilling chase that stays with you long after you close the final page. And let me leave you with one question. Do you believe ancient secrets truly exist, waiting for the right moment to be revealed? If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Tell me which Dan Brown book you want reviewed next, The Lost Symbol or Origin. Share your thoughts in the comments. I read every discussion. And as always, thank you for being part of this journey. More mysteries are on the way.